Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching this in the world. My name is Herbert Rovgahia. I'm the Managing Director of Landsend Homes Limited. At Landsend Homes, we build for Ugandans in the diaspora. If you are Ugandan in the diaspora and you want to start a construction project back home in Uganda, if you don't have a trustworthy person that you can entrust this project with, if you have been cheated in previous unscrupulous dealings, or if you just don't know where to start and you just want to, delve into the real estate market, you're in the right place. You can give us a call or send us a WhatsApp message. Our diaspora contact number is +1 469 278 1138, and the local number is 0782 664430. You can contact us on these numbers across all global time zones, and we'll be able to assist you to move further. Okay? Landsend Homes we build for Ugandans in the diaspora. Today we're talking about 13 steps, 13 mistakes to avoid so that you don't buy fake land in Uganda. Okay? The steps are in no particular order. They are equally important. Of course, if we're buying land that is relatively low priced compared to other plots of land, you might think that this is overkill. But when you start buying land in the hundreds of millions of shillings, then you will see that these are very important mistakes or traps that you have to avoid to ensure that you buy genuine land. Okay, we do help clients in the diaspora if you're looking to buy land and you don't know where to start, or at least you've seen a plot or few and you need some guidance. We can give you some consultative guidance on these steps. You will need a pen and paper to write them down, and let's get into it. Okay, so I'll give you first the list of the steps and then I'll break them down one by one. Okay, so the very first overall mistake, okay, the overall trap to avoid is if you notice that you're being rushed by the seller or by the broker, if you feel inherently that you're being rushed to make this purchase, do not make this purchase. You have to feel comfortable in your purchase. Okay, so if you feel rushed, this is number one. Number two, getting a search letter at lands. Mistake number two is not getting a search letter at lands. Mistake number three, not conducting a national ID check. Mistake number four, not conducting a transfer form check. Some of the things will be even new to you. You've not had it before, you've not done it before. Like I said, if it's a small value that you're looking to buy, you might not think you might think it's overkill. But if you're buying in the hundreds of millions of shillings, these are steps you definitely have to take to avoid making such grave mistakes. Okay. Next step, next mistake, not conducting a physical title check. Next one, not involving surveyors. Next one, paying in cash as opposed to using bank transfers. Next mistake, not reviewing a mortgage release letter from the bank. In case the plot has a caveat, not reviewing this. Not reviewing the contract that the seller used when they were buying their plot of land. Not reviewing the seller's driver's license. Not reviewing not reviewing the seller's TIN number, tax identification number. Not using lawyers. And last but not least, not contacting us. I think this is the biggest mistake. Not contacting Landsend Homes to help you with this process. Okay, so these are the 13 steps to the 13 traps and 13 mistakes to avoid to ensure that you buy genuine land in Uganda. Okay, so the first one we talked about is being rushed. If you feel that you are being put under pressure by the seller, by the broker, there are many people who are interested in it, oli yasasuddeko deposit ono ki ate okalaba kataka kalungi kajja kukolera biki. All this is noise. Ignore it. You have to show the vendor or the seller that you're willing to walk away from this piece of land. Amataka tegaggwaayo, ebirungi tebiggwaayo. There are very many plots of land. There are very many beautiful plots of land, not including the one that you're looking at right now. If you feel rushed, there has to be something that they are rushing you for. Maybe something they don't want you to see. Maybe something they don't want you to catch. Okay? So if you feel rushed, tell the seller or tell the buyer, also tell the vendor, broker, boss, if the land is mine, I will find it and I will buy it. Naye bwe libanga si lyange, liguze omulala yenna. Don't worry, I will find another piece of land. I have to do my due diligence so that I am comfortable with this piece of land, and then I will be able to pay for it. But if you're rushing me, if you're giving me conditions, ultimatums, threats, conditions, or other caveats, sell the land. I will find another piece of land. You have to specify, you have to specifically say this to the seller or to the broker so that they know that they're not going to push you. Okay? This is the overall arching mistake or trap to avoid. Okay? That's number one. Number two, not conducting a search of that title at Ministry of Lands. Of course, Ministry of Lands is the custodian of all land titles, is the custodian of all information, documentation related to lands and land tenure systems in the country. Okay? So, to the extent that you want to buy land and have it eventually transferred into your name as the full owner of this piece of land, you have to go to the Ministry of Land and conduct a title search. Okay? In the market, wajagamba genda okole search, oba kankole search. This means you're going to the Ministry of Land and you're going to do a title search. You can search by the block number, plot number, the name on the title as it shows. Okay? When you search at Ministry of Lands, the standard time for a response is 24 to 72 hours. Okay, so Ministry of Lands will write an official letter to you and they will tell you, hey, Mr. Herbert, referring to regarding your search for block number this, plot number this, in the names of this, these are the findings. One, there is no encumbrance. You say, okay, good, check mark. Two, there is an encumbrance. Check mark. You know now there is an encumbrance. Three, the land is okay. In our records, it shows that it is registered to so and so. Ministry of Lands will put a caveat. They will say it is incumbent upon you, the buyer, to ensure that the person you're buying from is indeed the person who is registered on this title. Because there could be two people with the same name. You could have John Smith and Smith Jones, or John Smith, a 2-year-old, and John Smith, a 25-year-old, and John Smith, a 50-year-old. Mukisa Thomas, 14-year-old boy. Mukisa Thomas, 76-year-old man. Mukisa Thomas, grandfather. Mukisa Thomas, deceased. These are all possibilities. The names do occur. So it is incumbent upon you, chikugwanidde ggwe omuguzi, to ensure that the person you're buying from is actually the person who is named on this title. Usually it is easy if you follow these steps, chijakwa changu nnyo, and you'll be able to see that you have actually talked to the right person. Most people, unfortunately, once they conduct a title search at Ministry of Lands, and the search comes back showing that the owner is indeed the person you are talking to, the plot has no encumbrance, they usually will go ahead with the purchase process. This is a big mistake. Please do not do this. Before you hand over, before you fork over your hard-earned money, go through the next 12 steps to avoid tears. Okay? The title search will tell you the plot number, it will tell you the block number, it will tell you the size, it will tell you the owner, it will tell you the encumbrance and the location. And also put the ball back in your court to verify that you're dealing with the right person. Now, when you get your title, the title search report, you have to compare it with the title document that you were handed or the photocopy that you were given by the seller. Okay? You have to ensure that the name matches the name, the block number matches the block number, the size of the plot matches the size of the plot. You have to check off each and every mark and tick them off to ensure that they match. It's imperative, okay? When you do the title search, actually, you will also know whether you have one title or you have two titles or even more than two titles. You can tell this, okay? At times, you'll go to a physical site and you see that the site is maybe half an acre. But when the guy gives you the title to go and search, a photocopy of the title, you'll see that the acreage is less than half an acre. So that tells you there has to be a different title, a similar, an additional title to the one that they have given you, or you're holding the wrong title. So you have to check this and be aware of it, that the acreage on the letter from search matches the acreage on the title that you've been given to use for the search. You have to match this. And also when you're checking the names, Mukisa John is not John Mukisa. Mukisa John is not John Mukisa. Mukisa John is Mukisa John. It is not John Mukisa. The two are not interchangeable. The first name is the first name, last name is the last name. It has to match across all the documents that we shall be discussing. Okay? So this is point number one. Point number two, sorry. Keep it very, very, very important at the back of your mind. When you get the search letter from Ministry of Lands, review it carefully, cross-reference between the search letter and the transfer document that you've given. The name has to match first name, last name has to match first name, last name. Acreage has to match plot number, block number, no encumbrance, no encumbrance. Okay? Location is location. It has to be the same. There is no mistake. There is no explanation. It has to be the same. Okay? Point number three is the national ID check. Fortunately, the government has put together the national ID system. It is extremely efficient. I mean, you've experienced it in all manners of dealings officially, whether in business or, transacting with companies or just dealing with the government generally. National ID is very efficient and very good. Now, the national ID will help you in checking that the person you're dealing with is actually the person you're supposed to be dealing with. That Mukisa John is actually Mukisa John as opposed to John Mukisa. Okay? And the beauty about the national ID is that NIRA, which is the national ID organization, NIRA wants to show that the national ID process is working very well. It is in their best interests for the public to know that the national ID system is working well, that everything is accurate, etc., as it is. Okay, so you go to the the NIRA office closest to you, and you tell them, "Dear NIRA office," you write to the manager or something. They'll give you the procedure on how to write. "Dear NIRA office MD or regional MD or something like this. I would like to verify that the owner of national ID number ABCD is Mr. So and so and so. I'm in the process of a land procurement or real estate procurement, and this is the copy. You attach the copy. This is the copy of the national ID that they gave me. Please verify that this man is the one." Right? NIRA will be very efficient. They will write back to you like Ministry of Lands did. Also, Ministry of Lands wants to show that their system is good. It is in their best interests that the people are happy with the service. Okay? So now NIRA will communicate to you and they will tell you, yes, so and so is so and so. This national ID is true. This national ID is fake. This national ID is not in our system. This national ID is a copy. National ID is okay. Now you know that the search letter that you received from Ministry of Lands says John Mukisa. National ID says John Mukisa. The photocopy of the national ID that I was given is registered in the NIRA office as for, John Mukisa. National ID has a biometric picture, right? So you can see the person you're dealing with on the ground. You can see the person on the national ID photocopy, and you can also see the letter from NIRA saying that this is the same person. Now, it's not time to pay yet, please. This is just 1, 2, 3. This is just the third step. We have 13, 10 more steps to go. It is not yet time to pay, but you're on the right track now. You're feeling more relaxed. If at any stage you make a check and the broker now or the seller starts putting you under pressure, remember, tell them to sell it to someone else. Tell them to sell it to someone else. You'll get someone else. Don't worry. Okay? I'll give you a small anecdote here. We have helped clients purchase land. Okay? When the client contacts us, the first thing to ask is, okay, fine, you want to buy land, but what are you trying to do with this land? Do you want, for your own bungalow, do you want to put up rentals, shop, mall, school, whatever? What do you want the land for, right? And how big? Do you want it commercial plot? Do you want residential? Do you want rural? Depending. So this client wanted to put up apartments, okay? Apartment building, and of course, if you are putting up apartments, you want it, near the road, nice, developed urban area, right? We looked for plots of land. From start to finish, we saw on average, not on average, exactly 413 plots of land. 413 plots of land in the space of 1 month and a half. You do the math, how many plots a day? Nga plot ezimu, ntuukawo butuusi, I look at the general area and I know this will not work. We move on. The plot, they tell you it is 100 meters from the road, right? You drive 100 meters from the road. If it is not there, turn around. Why? Because when we're dealing with a client, we're going to have to be truthful. We're going to tell them that this is exactly what's on the ground. Over 400 plots in a month and a half. The point of the matter is, ploti weziri. No broker or no seller should put you under any pressure to buy their plot. None whatsoever. Ploti weziri. Mubungi. Even the plot that you think is not available for sale is for sale if you have the right money. If you go in town on Kampala Road and touch any building on Kampala Road and say you want to buy this building today and you have the money to buy this building today, they'll sell it to you. Any. Likewise, any house, any building you touch is for sale if you have the right money. Omuntu ajagambye ekibuga nze nkivuddemu mpaaka ngende kanzireyo mu kyalo. Right? So it tells you that do not be rushed at all. There are plots everywhere, and the plots are even better than what you see. In fact, you will buy yours, you will pay for it, and then tomorrow you will drive and you'll see another plot, say, oh my goodness, I wish. But you have to be content. So do not be rushed. This is the point. Do not be rushed at all. Okay? After you've done the national ID check, in addition to that, actually, we have the driver's license check, but we'll get to that one later. National ID check. After the national ID check, the next step that you want to do is to check the transfer form. This one, not many people do at all, but we do it. What is it exactly? If someone has a plot of land and it is registered in their names, then definitely they conducted a transfer process in the Ministry of Lands. But again, if they bought the land genuinely and transferred it into their names genuinely, then definitely they did a transfer process within Ministry of Lands, and that record exists. Lands is on point. Lands is in. Someone could pick up a photocopy of a land title, go and photocopy it with their names and bring it to you and tells you this title is registered in my name. Here is the photocopy. If you're gullible and you don't know, you will take them at their word. If you have not contacted us, if you have not watched this video, if you have not learned the 13 traps to avoid in order to buy genuine land, you will fall for it. But the fact of the matter is, your title gy'akuwadde, showing their name as a registered owner, is also a copy of the same identical title is available, not a copy. The original copy, the original document is available at the Ministry of Lands. You understand? What do? Again, you go to Ministry of Lands. You request, dear Mr. Lands Manager, Regional Office, I'm in the process of procuring this piece of lands from Mr. So and so and so. According to the search letter, it shows that he's the one, etc. And I would like to know, please, if you know the document was duly transferred into his name using Ministry of Lands processes, or well, we have a template that we use. Ministry of Lands is more than willing to show that their processes are working well. It is in their best interest, it is in the best interest of the public for peace and harmony for everyone. Lands will tell you, yes, this man is registered in our system, he does this, and this man, his transfer process was well conducted. That's what they need to tell you. It was well conducted. Right? Now you know that you're holding a genuine title, or at least the man has a genuine title. It was transferred within the Ministry of Lands, within the right processes. This man has a copy of it, which is also available. You searched it in Ministry of Lands, it exists. He's not putting you under pressure. His national ID looks okay. You feel like paying, right? No, not yet. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just 4 traps that we are unearthing right now. Just 4. We have 9 more traps, mistakes. If you didn't do the 5th, for example, you would lose out on the whole thing. If you're too excited, you would lose out. Okay?